If you've got a great idea, you need to learn how to pitch it. So if you want to pitch like the pros, they get the deals, they get the money, please watch this video. Okay, everybody, Stephen Key here, and today I have a very special guest. Felicia, where do you live, first of all?
I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh, geez, okay. And I had the pleasure of watching you on TV recently. And what was the name of that show?
Yes, I was on Amazon Buy It Now show. Very brand new show where innovators come to show their goods.
And what was so amazing, I watched you, your pitch was great, it was heartfelt, you showed your product. You were really a pro and you won $20,000 that during that segment, correct?
I did. Yeah, towards the end of the show, they get all the companies that pitched and they pick the best pitch of that episode and we won. I'm so happy we did.
Well, yours was actually a pretty tough little group too,
Wow.
right? Yeah, you had a very competitive group, but you really stood out. So before we get started on pitching, because this interview is all about how do you pitch and knock the crowd out in such a way that they love you. And they definitely did love you. So because the audience, they all raised their hand, they all wanted to buy your product. So what is your product?
Right. So I invented a medical all-in-one CPR template that allows anyone to perform CPR even if you're untrained. It has all the steps, it has visual guides, it's compact, cost-effective, to save a life.
You know, it's really amazing. You're right. I saw it. I loved it. Looks like it was easy to use,
Right,
affordable, which is really amazing, and it's going to save lives.
right.
All right. So that's why, in my opinion, it was a winner. I saw it. I agreed. I loved it. The crowd loved it too. All right. So I saw the pitch. I was very impressed. But then later, I hear that you're going to be pitching again, and there's like $1 million. I mean, if you win $1 million. Is there such a thing?
It is. That shocked me as well. Actually, the pitch is in New York City, and Pharrell Williams, the mega superstar music producer extraordinaire, puts this on every year, and he invites, I would say, maybe 20 or 30 companies to go. It's a very detailed year-long cumulation, and we go. They only pick 8 companies to pitch on stage. The grand prize winner wins $1 million, but the other companies you win money as well. I mean, you can win 250,000, 100,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was
So you
spectacular.
you weren't the $1 million winner, but you won $100,000.
$100,000. Yes, I did.
Well, that's impressive.
That's good money as well.
So tell me, let's talk about pitching for a minute because a lot of people, I think pitching is really important. I think they're watching Shark Tank. I think they're wondering, how do I pitch? There's pitching contests. But how do you prepare? What have you done to to become a professional at pitching? Because I consider you a pro. How how do you do that if you're just starting out?
Right. So you have to know your product. You have to know the reason why. A lot of times, you can just rattle off the numbers, what you've done, and you don't have that connection with who you're pitching with. People at the end of the day, they know, who's actually telling the story, who's authentic, and they believe in you. They believe in you as a storyteller. And I consider myself a storyteller. I get on stage and I tell the story. I tell the story of why this product was invented. I tell the story of my family and how it affected me, and people can relate. And when people can relate to you, I mean, you've already won.
All right. So you're a good storyteller. How did you learn to be a good storyteller?
That's a good question. Well, I have 3 children, so maybe that has something to do with it. Um, you just, sometimes, and you know what? I was not always good at this. It was repetition. I call myself an introvert. I'm a introvert that is an innovator. That I'm also a procrastinator. And so, and those things they
Oh,
don't necessarily go go together. But I had to learn to use my fear as a driver to
hmm,
get out there and say, "Hey, Felicia, I know you're terrified, but you have a product that can potentially save someone's life.
okay,
What's more important? That is."
okay. So what about timing? Because you don't have a lot of time to tell that story. How do you practice on the timing aspect of it? Do they tell you you have 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minutes? I mean, how do you practice that?
Yeah, I mean that's a hard thing. I have so many pitches that I had to get used to saying. And I feel like the hardest pitch is the one where you only have a few seconds. For the
Okay.
Amazon Buy It Now show, I had 90 seconds. For this Black Ambition pitch competition I was just in New York, I had 4 minutes.
Oh,
Right. So um it's you just have to get used to being able to tell your story, hit the most important things that you want to hit in the first few seconds, to capture and to keep their attention.
yeah. So tell us the difference between a 90-second pitch, which is a minute and a half, versus 4 minutes. 4 minutes is like eternity. What did you do for the rest of the 3.5 minutes
I
or
know.
the 2.5 minutes? Yes. What'd you
I
do?
know. I know. As for the longer pitch, I went into more detail. I went into the product market fit, who are our competitors, who we partnered with, our
Oh,
revenue. So, you can take it down that rabbit hole and say, hey, because at this point, you're pitching to people like investors. Um, it's a different crowd. But when you have that quick elevator pitch, you just want to hook them to it so they'll want to learn more. And then you
okay.
can have that conversation later.
So you want to hook them fast.
Yeah.
And then if you know your audience, which is really important, and what's important to them,
Right.
those are the things that you probably want to bring in your pitch.
Yes.
But you
Yes.
have to hook
Sooner.
them first with the emotional pull of the storytelling. Okay, you're camera ready. How did you become camera ready?
That took some time as well. It was not always like that. I go back and I hate to look at myself pitch or on television. I hate to look at that, but I have to because I look at myself when I first started several years ago and how I am today, and it was a growth.
Okay,
No one's always good at something in the very beginning. You got to grow at it.
okay. Because I watch, you can always tell when someone's authentic. You can always tell when someone's camera ready. They know the camera, they know where the cameras are, they smile at the right time. They have that emotional pull. So, but that does take practice, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. And then a lot of times when I looked at myself pitch in the earlier stages, I was terrified. I could literally hear my heart beating, and I focused on that
Okay.
and not paying attention to what I was supposed to be doing. And then I had to separate myself. When I became more comfortable on stage, I was focused. I was focused on what I had to say, and it translated into how I pitched
Are you still nervous today?
all the time. All the time. I don't think that ever goes away. It's just how I use my nervousness. I hate to say fear because I tell people never let fear be your driver, but I mean, and that's good to have a little nervousness in the beginning.
Okay. So how do you calm yourself down? Do you walk? Do you pace? Do you talk to yourself? Look in the mirror? What do you do?
I always have something, not this big, but I keep something in my hand, to give myself something tactile to kind of touch, and just say, hey, you're in this moment, stay in this moment. And I do some deep breathing beforehand as well. And then I just get out there and do it because when you first get on that stage, the first few seconds are the most scary for me. But after 5 or 6 seconds, I it's like an out of body experience. I can't tell you what I said. I can't tell you where I was standing, but I just know I did something and I did my best. And people, they tend to love it.
When you walk off the stage, do you know you nailed it? Or do you still wonder, like, did I nail it? Did I do something wrong? I mean, how do you feel when you walk off?
I feel amazing because, when I do that, it's like you want to win. I really wanted to win that $1 million. I wanted that badly. But I also wanted people to know that my product, my company existed. That's my main goal. And so I'd already won.
You're amazing. That's all I got to say. I watched you and I was mesmerized because you just grabbed them. You grabbed me, the whole crowd. I remember watching, everybody raised their hand. They all wanted it. You have an amazing product. We're going to show it, of course. So, congratulations on everything.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, and thank you for sharing all that great advice with our audience. And hopefully, we'll have you back on your next big win or who knows what. But please come back to tell us more.
I will. I have an inventive mind and I'm always inventing things. I got something that I'm going to release next year, so I will definitely be back.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, you've got a great product idea and you want to get it to the right companies to license it so they can take it to market for you, but you want the pros to do it. We have a new program at InventRight. It's called Gateway, where we reach out to the right companies to get to the right people and make sure your product is pitched correctly so you get the licensing deal. And once the deal comes over, we're going to help negotiate it behind the scenes to make sure it's fair and balanced. So if you want the pros to do it, we're here. Please check out Gateway.